This is Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr. The Birds are 1-0 after a 24-20 win over the Dallas Cowboys. And looming now for Philadelphia, the Kansas City Chiefs. Plenty to talk about here on the show coming out of that Week 1 win for the Birds. So we are going to take some of your questions here on the show, chop it up, and talk some Eagles as we always do. Cannot wait, by the way, for this Super Bowl rematch. We'll see if Jalen Carter can play in this Week 2 game. Obviously, a suspension, at least a fine, could be coming for the 2024 second team All-Pro. The Eagles' defensive line, violent, unrelenting, causing so much havoc against the Chiefs in Super Bowl 59. And so Kansas City has had this matchup circled, but Kansas City, Philadelphia Eagles, they're coming as well. And this is going to be a big-time Sunday afternoon tilt at Arrowhead Stadium. We got you covered with the best Eagles coverage every single day. But, of course, Eagles-Chiefs going into Week 2. Hit that subscribe button here on Eagles Now. Plus, you can be a part of our mailbag segments as well. Dino, $2 Super Chat. Thank you for your donation, my brother. What cornerback would you trade for right now? So, Dino, there are a couple of options out there. Really what I think Howie Roseman is going to do early in the year, give it 4 to 8 weeks in the lead up to the NFL trade deadline, right? Monitor what other teams across the NFL have quality corners who could be shopped because those teams sell and they are willing to make a trade going into the NFL trade deadline. I don't think Philadelphia has to panic right now and make a panic-stricken move to try to upgrade corner. I do think Adoree Jackson is a problem, but I want to see what Jacorian Bennett can do. Maybe we'll see what Mac McWilliams, the 4th-round pick out of UCF, can do because Vic Fangio really liked him throughout the preseason and in training camp. I think the Eagles have really cooled on Keely Ringo, but he's also a part of the mix. Eli Ricks is on the practice squad. And so evaluate your own personnel first. Monitor what's going on across the NFL, and if there are corners available and your corners continue to struggle because this is a potential red flag, then you strike and you try to make a move. For instance, look at what the Cleveland Browns are going to do. I mean, we're a few months away from it being 2026 and Joe Flacco is their starter, right? And so if the Browns are really bad, Andrew Berry used to work under Howie Roseman. You have that line of communication. Do you make a call to Cleveland about a player like Denzel Ward? That's the type of example that I'm talking about here. And Denzel Ward is a top corner around the NFL, probably a top 25 guy. And Howie Roseman even said it. After the Eagles cut their roster down to 53 players, we're not done. We have a bunch of draft picks, and we love using draft picks, but we can use those picks in a trade. Never sleep on Howie. The man tried to trade for Micah Parsons this summer. Outdoor Creations, another $2 Super Chat. How about Jahan Dotson? Look, Jahan Dotson was a player who, when I was covering Penn State at my previous job, I really liked him. And I thought that he was a first-round wideout. Ran 4.4, had good hands, was a pretty explosive player, really good as a punt returner, and he did that last night for the Eagles, which I like that move. Find a way for him to be impactful, get the ball in his hands because he's dynamic. And last year, remember, he got traded for right before the year. To learn the offense so quickly at wide receiver when there's a lot of nuance there, that's not the easiest thing to do. Also, he was a good soldier last year. He didn't complain. He's not dumb. The Eagles' offense runs through Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert before him. But you can still find a way to make plays as a punt returner and as a wide receiver when you take advantage of your opportunities. And I thought it was great how Jahan Dotson was able to make a statement play in this game. And frankly, it was good to see for the local guy who went to Penn State. You know, I went to Temple. Their football program's been up and down, but I grew up on Joe Paterno football, so I followed it closely. I covered him professionally. I'm a believer in Dotson. And his career hasn't gone as well as probably he would have imagined or hoped for when he was a first-round pick by Washington. Shoot, they couldn't get rid of him fast enough. Last year, didn't do a lot as far as production. But I've said this a few times here on the show. Late in the year, I thought he played well when the Eagles sat some guys and rested some players within games or for a whole game. In the playoffs, had the first touchdown on the extension play from Jalen Hurts against the Packers. And he was really, really good in the Super Bowl as well. 51-yard pitch and catch, one of the biggest moments of that game, and a dime from Jalen Hurts. John Galt, what are the odds that the league hands Jalen Carter a long suspension, and how long? I think that if there wasn't video of Dak Prescott spitting toward Jalen Carter first, and some people will say spitting toward him is different than spitting on him, obviously, but if you do something like get into an accident on the highway, and then that leads to the pileup, people are going to focus on the pileup more, right? But who started it initially? Maybe your dumb decision on the roadway, right? And so we're thinking that Jalen Carter was the one who just, out of nowhere, spit on the chest of Dak Prescott. If that was the case, yeah, I think he gets suspended for week 2 against Kansas City, and pretty much he was suspended for week 1 because he didn't play a snap against Dallas. But because Dak spit first, I think it's now just going to be a fine. But we know that the NFL and refs are in bed with the Kansas City Chiefs. They sleep and cuddle with them. And so if the NFL says, we don't want Jalen Carter destroying Patrick Mahomes again like he did in Super Bowl 59, let's suspend him for week 2. Add some intrigue and drama to this game. Plus, they might try to make an example of Jalen Carter. So what I'm going to lean at now and lean toward now, it's a fine. But if he's suspended, I'm not surprised. NFL is going to review the issue, according to the NFL Network. And Tom Pelissero did note that Carter pretty much already served a 1-game suspension. Andrew Nathan, Chase, I do believe KP has to make better adjustments on the fly, but I also believe that our offensive line wasn't getting any push off the line in the run game. Mailata stood out to me. Got to get right. So let's talk about this, right? I saw in the comment section here on the show, the Eagles' offense sucked. Kevin Patullo stinks. The Eagles scored on 3 first-half drives, 3 touchdowns. And I thought it was pretty telling that Jalen Hurts looked cool, calm, collected, confident, and decisive. And he was the best player on the field last night, on Thursday night, as we record this on Friday. And so you love how the Eagles started. And shoot, if there's no weather delay, which impacted the offensive flow for both teams, I think the Eagles recover that fumble. They march right down the field and they score again to capitalize on that Miles Sanders fumble because momentum and the ball was rolling. It's like a snowball going downhill, right? It gathers snow as it goes downhill with velocity and momentum, right? The Eagles had momentum and then boom, right after they recover that fumble, they just have to go to the locker room and sit cold for an hour and then they only warm up for 15 minutes. That's tough. Emotionally, mentally, physically, game planning wise. So yeah, Patullo can be better, but look, I wasn't expecting the Eagles to be perfect in week 1. You got the win. That's all that matters. Millie315, does Dak just get away with it? Lying through his teeth in the postgame interview. Millie, I share the same thoughts. People are acting like Dak Prescott, high character guy. I respect him as a dude, what he stands for, what he's been through. But people are acting like he's a choir boy, right? Come on, Dak. What grown man is in the huddle, goes out of his way to go in between his 2 offensive linemen, make eye contact with Jalen Carter, spit toward him at the ground, pick his head up, look at him, nod his head and say, yeah, in a clear taunting move. And then after the game, he has the balls to say, oh yeah, I did nothing wrong. I'm shocked. I can't believe Jalen Carter spit on me. He was taunting Tyler Booker. I wasn't having that. Dak, we all know what you did. And you know what you did. It's fine. Those images of Carter and Dak meeting face mask to face mask before the game even started, that just goes to show you the intensity and the passion of this rivalry. How seriously these athletes take Dallas Cowboys against the Philadelphia Eagles. I love it. And that's going to be a lasting moment in this rivalry's history. But you provoked Jalen Carter, and you can't lie through your teeth and tell us that you didn't know what you were doing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on Eagles Now. Always love chopping it up with all of you and taking your questions. EAGLES, Eagles. Always love chopping it up with all of the real ones. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Daily Eagles coverage still to come. Let's go.